I'm riding.
Oh,
Bobby's driving.
I'm like, it's not worth it. Oh, we're live on Facebook. Okay, so we're live now. So we want to say welcome. I want to say White Husky Quest and Cha Squeeze Customer. Today we want to welcome you all to the Native Wellness Institute Power Hour. We are excited today. We're going to be talking about the revival of the Canoe Journey. And I have guests today that I'm very excited. But before I introduce them or they introduce themselves, I just want to give a shout out to the Indian Collective. And they're the ones who are sponsoring this Power Hour today. So shout out to them. And so today I want to start off and I want to have Shelly Boyd, who is joining us from the car going up to, I believe you're going to Colville, Shelly, is that right? Spokane. Okay. So Shelly, why don't you go ahead and start and introduce yourself?
White Peace Knoxville, Kenchai Squeeze Praset, Kinsenai, Taximilu, Tashkin Limpkinala, Atli Tali, Kwam Tahahit Mamim. So my name's Shelly Boyd. I'm a member of the Colville tribe in the Sinai band, and I'm just really glad to be here with all of you women.
Awesome. Welcome, Shelly. And then Margot, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, Sweet Quest, Margot Hill. I'm Margot Hill. I'm a Spokane tribal citizen. Was the tribe's attorney. Now I'm a professor at Eastern Washington University in tribal planning. And joining me is...
my name's Sadie Hill. I'm Margot's daughter. Margot.
Awesome. Well, welcome, you guys. We're excited to have you here today. And our other guest also comes from Inchalim, and it is Miss Stevie Seymour. Do you want to introduce yourself, Stevie?
Okay. White Peace Knoxville Squeeze Kashan, Yapi Squeeze Stevie Seymour, Kim Cool Calville, Skuhula, Cool Inchalim, Kikin Move. Hi, Stevie Seymour. I'm the executive director for the Inchalim Language and Culture Association. And I'm also Shelly's daughter, so it looks like it's a mother-daughter day today.
Yes, because we have Margot and Sadie, and we have Shelly and Stevie. That's awesome. So I'm so excited to have you guys on this Power Hour. You know, and as we're talking, we share our Power Hour. So we do Power Hours. I believe we've had over 100 Power Hours since this pandemic started, and we are trying to just put light and love and wellness into the community, into the world, into our people. And what a great subject to talk about, and talking about the revival of our Canoe Journey. And all of you have been a part of that revival, and that's why I wanted you to be honest. And yesterday, I know Shelly, do you want to start off just talking about yesterday and how you how you got to that point?
Sure. I mean, and I'm going to flat out blame Virgil Seymour. Okay, it's his fault. And John Zinzer, he's another guilty party. And so there's these DR Michelle, these men. Okay, they drug us kicking and screaming into as I think a community activist, we get really busy in our lives, and I want to take this moment to just hold men up too, because there's a lot that we do as women, but sometimes it is those men that are really pushing that too, and they got their ways to get us in place to do this other work. And Virgil was like, "Hey, Shelly, come down and see this log. This log came from the coast. This is 600-year-old cedar. Come check this out. We're digging a canoe." And I'm like, "Virgil, I don't have time for this. I'm not going to go see that log. I don't want to meet John Zinzer. It is not happening." But being the way he is, the way DR Michelle, you cut, John Zinzer, who is just an amazing human being and canoe builder, and and Riverman. But I got into that, and of course, Stevie is the wind beneath my wings. If I can, my girl does so much. God, that anyway. So we got involved 4 years ago, and I was completely right. You touch one of those logs, and you are transformed, and it changes you and your responsibility to the water and to the river and to the salmon and the sturgeon and to all the things that rely on that water that don't have a voice. We are responsible for that voice. And that's, I guess, the start for me. And yesterday was the 4th year. And, it's hard. That's a hard time of the year for Stevie and I, we lost Virgil 4 years ago. We lost Jim 4 years ago. Jim yesterday on that day, and Virgil on the 13th. But they're like our ancestors, like all of our ancestors. They're still with us. They're pushing us forward. And yesterday was a different way to do the salmon ceremony. And with COVID, we do have to be responsible, and we have to be aware of our health right now. Our people are they've been so wise in the past, but also I think we understand pandemics in a different way, a much more real way. But we also understand our responsibilities to the water. And I was so happy to see Sadie there, just, paddling away too. But we have to do these things. And so, yesterday was beautiful and perfect, and it's always different, even when we go through it. The videos that I have seen people post on Facebook going down to the water, it's just given me chills.
Wow. That's so awesome, Shelly. I was honored to have been a part of that first canoe journey. And, for us, when we started, we fortunately, we had a REACH grant that helped us to build the Sturgeon-nose canoes. And we actually had to hire Dr. Sean Bergman from the Spokane tribe to teach us how to make those Sturgeon-nose. As we were making our first Sturgeon-noses, the men in fisheries were building the first dugout. So it was so amazing, that we were fortunate enough to have Sean come out and help us and teach us. And, it was the most beautiful thing, to be able to have those Sturgeon-nose canoes touch the water of Lake Coeur d'Alene, and they hadn't touched the water in over 100 years. And when our canoes touch the water, you can feel our ancestors. You can feel them welcoming us home. And it makes me emotional every time, because I felt them almost wrap their arms around us and say, welcome home. Welcome back to where you belong. And I just really feel like the canoes are an awakening. And, I brought a tribal council member out in a Sturgeon-nose canoe when we were leaving the Benawa, and I had her in the canoe, and we were paddling around, and I told her, this is the answer to drugs and alcohol. This is the answer to save our people who are lost. And I really believed that when I said that, because it reconnects us back to who we are. And so, and I know, Stevie, you've done a lot of work, not only in the canoe revitalization, but you've also done a lot of work in the language revitalization, which those two go hand in hand. So Stevie, I just want to let you share whatever it is you want to share.
I guess I'm just like my mom. I feel like I get dragged into everything kicking and screaming too. So when we first started doing the canoe journey for the Upper Columbia, it really was kind of Dad and DR kind of pulling us in, and my dad was always, on us because he was working in the position my mom has been in as the Arrow Lake facilitator. And he was like, well, this is connected. And so everything that we kept doing, the more and more we add, we realize like everything is still connected. We still have all of these things to do. I do language work in the administration side, but I'm not a speaker. I wouldn't claim to be even a beginning speaker. I'm very low on the speaking portion. I'm more the grant writer. I'm just the grant writer and the project developer kind of a person. The amount of time that it takes to learn language and that we need people to really put in, I haven't been able to do both. And so I always follow my mom's lead as much as, organizing and stuff I do with the paddle every year now. Everything still goes through Shelley Boyd, right? So I think the biggest things for myself in doing everything and the Canoe Journey, I think this year was really different. We canceled the salmon ceremony, we canceled the Canoe Journey. Usually ILCA does the planning and all of that for that. And when COVID first started, we just knew that we weren't going to have the ability to do what we needed to do and all be together in the same way. And so we started brainstorming how we could bring people together and still, do what we need to do, praying out the water and getting that reminder out. So we contacted Derek Lemire to do that movie, the short 15-minute, it's not a movie, but it's just a short. We wanted it to be short. We wanted it just to be enough for people to be able to watch and be inspired and want to do it, but not get so bored with kind of watching a documentary that they up and left the video.
Right.
And I think he did a wonderful job on that. But Saturday morning, me and my mom wake up and the River Warrior Society was, they were like, we're going to paddle no matter what. We're still going to do the landing no matter what. And so Saturday morning, me and mom are kind of moving around and we're like, we can't let them land without people there, without food. So we threw everything together. I was like, hey, I made a call out to Insulin community. I said, I need your first foods, your traditional foods, and I need them now. And people came together and got that for us. And it was a smaller gathering. I think I haven't seen a gathering that small since probably 2011, 2012, when we were first starting to kind of make it a bigger community event. And so, but it was awesome. It was amazing. And I'm so thankful for them paddlers because, man, they really made it. We were kind of being depressed about everything. And they're like, well, we're getting out there. And so it kind of pushed us to be like, well, we can't let them land here without anything. And it really made a beautiful day. And so just really thankful for everybody for that. I think
Awesome.
that's it.
Thanks, Stevie. That's so amazing. And so let's move it over to Margot and Sadie because I know they have been a big part of the Canoe Journey from the Spokane tribe. So why don't you go ahead, Margot and Sadie, and just share about building the canoe. You guys worked with Annette. Annette's built a dugout and a sturgeon nose. Annette is just an amazing person. So go ahead, Margot. Why don't you guys take it away?
So I really commend UCUT and all the leadership that brought all the tribes together. To me, the coolest part of revival of our canoe journey and the canoe culture is that this one area really brings all the tribes together. The Colvilles, the Coeur d'Alenes, the Kalispels, the Spokanes, and the Kootenays of Idaho. This whole project that brought the cedar logs to us, in which all the tribes had the opportunity to revive our canoe culture, has been amazing. Over these past years, my kids who have all done the paddle, starting it everywhere, if it's on the Kalispel Reservation or the Spokane Indian Reservation, Craig, Patty, and Sadie Hill, they've been able to meet all the folks from the other tribes, and it's all the tribes working together. That's the most powerful thing. It brings our elders together, it brings our leaders together, our songs and our young people together in a way that I haven't seen. And so the United by Water film that Derek Lemire did, it was just really powerful for all of our tribal communities. And when we showed it here at the Garland Theater, just hundreds and hundreds of Indians from all the tribes showed up. There were lines around the block, and it showed to all of us that we are strong, that we are powerful, and that we are here. And the canoe journey and the canoe culture has really helped us reclaim our traditional transportation routes. At the university, I do research on transportation, and we have been cut off from our traditional transportation routes that our ancestors did for since time immemorial. Before there were horses or before there were roadways and vehicles, our people traveled all these rivers and traveled from tribe to tribe on the canoes. And so it's been real powerful. You know, even doing the research, we had canoes that were submerged on each side of the river. We had transportation systems where people could travel back and forth at locations. And it's amazing to remember our traditional tribal knowledge about the canoe journey. I've been real pleased that my kids have been able to participate as paddlers. And for the past 2 months, the River Warriors contacted us and said, hey, Margot, your kids have been part of the canoe journeys, the paddles. They pull, would you like a tree? And so we've been working with Annette Pion, that's Coeur d'Alene and that lives on the Spokane Indian Reservation, to carve this canoe for the past couple months. We're getting close to getting done. And my kids have been able to learn about the element of cedar and how to listen to the tree and carve what's there. Let the element of water and cedar speak to you in a way that we haven't known as Indian people for a while. And the most powerful thing from Shelley and Stevie and the Ceremony of Tears is that we are fighting back to the dams and the hydroelectric power that robbed us from our salmon and took away our greatest resource that we fed our children with. And I could say more, but I'll let Sadie chime in a little bit and say hi. But as Indian people, we are fighting for clean water and fighting to bring the salmon back. So I'll stop for a minute. So
well, Sadie, I just want to say, if you have even this little bit of fire like your mom, you're gonna be going places, and it's just so awesome. And I just want to say, congratulations on having this opportunity to learn how to make a dugout canoe. That is so amazing, and that's knowledge that your ancestors, that knowledge was almost lost. And there's going to be a time that you're going to be one of the very few people in Salish country that knows this knowledge, Sadie. And you have to understand how important that is, that you continue on this road and, continue to make your ancestors proud, because, it's amazing. So tell all of the people, how do you feel? What does it make you feel like?
Well, like my mom said, we've been doing this for a couple of years now. And I think the biggest thing for us is it's no longer something that we want to do. It's something that we need to do. I was talking to my Auntie Nat over the weekend, and one of her friends was saying that we were traveling, and it was this is essential. What we're doing is essential. We need this healing, and it's just what we need to do. This is my second year doing it, and just to step back from the world and just to take time to just be with people that you love and people who love you, to be where you come from, and to have the water and the trees and the mountains. It's just healing, and it's not something that we want, it's something that we need. I think that's really
So Sadie, how old are you?
I'm 17 now. I just turned 17 a couple weeks ago.
Awesome. So when you started, how old were you?
14, 15. Yeah.
Wow. And so how did it feel the first time you got onto the water in a canoe?
I was kind of scared because it was kind of cold and I thought we were gonna tip. But it was nice. It was nice. It felt really nice just to glide on the water, and like every single time I like do a stroke, my hand goes underneath, so it's like it was just like a rush. The next day it really hurt though. It really hurt my shoulders and my arms, but everything else was really amazing.
I think that's one thing that we all learn is that we need to work on our muscles
yeah,
and
sure.
that's something you know, because I was a part of our reach grant. We not only made canoes, but we also were able to do powwow sweat. And that's one of the things I had thought about is like, man, I need to come up with exercises that work your arms, right? Work your back, and, you know, so we can like physically get ready for Canoe Journey, because otherwise you're dying out there. And and you know, and I just, you know, it was so funny when we finished our dugout canoe, and Jeff Jordan and them were talking about it, and all those guys jumped in the canoe, and man, that canoe was just like
yeah, we almost did this weekend.
yeah, see, and it was and that was what's crazy. Like, even though we're all snikes or Shishichuums or Insokchin, you know, most of us didn't know what the hell we were doing, right? We got on those canoes and everything. It was like, wow.
Yeah, it's definitely something you have to learn.
Yeah, definitely. So what Shelly, do you want to share anything about your first canoe journey?
Well, our first canoe journey, yeah, I mean, it was beautiful. It was powerful. And we had lost Virgil at that point, and the family waited a week, which is really uncommon, you know, to have his services. And every day I could hear his voice there, but his scaling squeeze was Sinkalipkin, you know, Coyote Head. And I remember right before you cross from Canada into the United States, there was this big wall, cliff wall, right? But it was 2 o'clock. I remember looking at my watch. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And at various places, we would hear people drumming for us. You know, we'd look up on the road, and, you know, there'd be a handful of people with hand drums. And we thought we heard that. And we would war hoop back. And so we started while Crystal Conan and we both war hooped back. And that whole mountainside, just like, it sounded like 100 coyotes just started war hooping back at us. And, you know, it's those moments that make you really know, you know, that this is what you're doing is right and that your people are with you. And, you know, as we go into the next step, and I think Stevie will talk more than that, I've got to sign off here, but, you know, we're really looking at expanding next year. Our dream is to have, you know, every tribe on the Columbia River coming up, having our coastal relatives come up, you know, to us, because the Columbia River is a powerful and important river. It has 14 dams on it, though, and those dams are blocking salmon. And I think it is our responsibility. We can do more for the salmon, and we know we can. And we know that it is possible, but I hate to jump off on you guys. I love you so much, LoVina, for doing this. And White, Sadie, and Margot, you two rock. And with that, man, I guess I'll lead it into Stevie, and she's probably rolling her eyes and going, God, Mom, why do you always set me up this way? But I love you guys. And I love you especially, Stevie Lee.
Thank you, Shelly Limlam, and Chaspaus, Talichas. All right.
Bye.
Sorry. So, yeah, I guess you let the cat out of that bag, huh? we're gonna we did announce yesterday at the ceremony when we went to do our prayers. We did announce next year we're gonna do it like the first year, but we're gonna make a call out to tribes that are all along the Columbia, and so and probably coastal tribes too to come. Um, that's our plan. It's 5 years. It's been a lot of learning in 5 years. Last year we had a great time. We were able to. I felt like it was the first time I felt we were really organized. We were getting people fed the whole way. They had cooks. They had people going with them, and it was the first time that we were really able to do that. And so, once you do something that well, you're like, well, we better start over and make it bigger and screw it all up again. And and who wants to give these paddlers a nice ride? But we want to invite everybody next year, and that's going to be our goal throughout this year, is to really make it bigger. And as you guys, anybody who's been to the salmon ceremony at Kettle Falls knows, it's a limited area, so it creates its own challenges of like transportation, getting in and out of the ceremony site, and the capacity of people that small area can hold. But that's where it's been done. That's where we've been doing it. Traditionally, it was done on the other side of the river, actually, and that side up by Sharpening Stone, which we kind of utilize that side for parking now, because it doesn't have easy access to the water. But we are going to be looking at doing that, and tell everybody they should be starting to talk to their tribes. It costs a lot of money to put these events on. It costs, I think our budget for the salmon ceremony is $40,000 a year, and that's just the local tribes right here, and getting that done for the salmon ceremony and Canoe Journey. So we'll be wanting people to, we're going to be going to tribes and asking for donations and asking for help. And, the poor Colville tribe, they always have to deal with me kind of going in there and bossing them around about spending more money on this stuff. So, but also people, we always need volunteers next year, even people who can't paddle. There's always things that have to be done. We have to move cars from every point to the next point, and we have to do a lot of that stuff. So just people who want to get in, give us a call. We're going to start assembling volunteer lists and possible funding opportunities and things like that. And we look forward to seeing everybody, and we're going to make it a big year. We're going to make up for having a little year this year.
Awesome. That sounds so good, Stevie. So what is the name? So, and I know earlier you had talked about the video, and I'm hoping I'm going to just be able to share it, but is the video that you guys did, is it on YouTube or is it just on your Facebooks?
I don't believe it's on YouTube. It might be on YouTube under Derek Lemire's. ILCA doesn't have our own YouTube page, and so Derek set that up for it to air for us. So I'm going to be honest, I really didn't do anything. I know that it's on our page and it is there, but other than that, I think I'll have to contact Derek. But I can get back to you with those and let you know what his YouTube handle is.
Okay.
Because he did say that it would be on there yesterday.
So what is the name, Stevie, of the Facebook page that the video is on?
The Insulim Language and Culture Association.
Insulim Language.
Or if you type it in, if you type it in, I think if you just do ILCA, it will bring us up.
Oh, okay. So ILCA.
Yeah. And so if you haven't got a chance to watch it, watch it. It's great. We got Tony Louie to come out and sing for us and be a part of that, and he did wonderfully. It was just a really nice, short, sweet video, but really powerful.
Yeah, I did get to watch it, and it was amazing. And I just thought, what vision and insight to have that done prior to the Canoe Journey, because we couldn't have a Canoe Journey, right? So you guys are amazing. And I just, I was crying watching that video, especially the elders, watching the chief, I think it was Chief Jim James, and they look so beautiful, and they're all standing, and you can still see the river when the Columbia was wild and free, and oh, it's just a great video. So I really encourage people to go to the Insulim Language and Culture Association's Facebook page to see that, because it's a great video. And Margot mentioned another video. And so we'll also share those videos on the Native Wellness Institute's Facebook page. And we also have a YouTube channel. So if we can get them on there, we'll do that too. So most
Yeah. Sorry, LoVina.
it's okay. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add in there that because you were talking about that footage that was on the video, that's the footage from the very first ceremony of tears. That was the year that the dam flooded out our fishing and stopped the salmon from coming up. So all that footage is really, it was the first and the last, right? That was the first time they had the ceremony of tears, and the last time they were ever able to have the salmon come up that far. So it's really powerful video there.
Okay, thanks for sharing that, Stevie. Yeah, I know, because, one of the things that, as I was working on our REACH grant, one of the things that I really thought a lot about was how, when those dams were put into place, how that took away our men's strength and ability to provide for their families, because they could no longer fish for the salmon, and just how it took us away from our natural and Aboriginal hunting and fishing grounds, and created and then gave us commodities like flour and sugar and salt and cheese, and all these foods that then created another genocide of diabetes and heart disease and obesity. It's not only that they took away the salmon, but they replaced it with all these foods that are health disparities that are killing our people, and even today. So I just wanted, it's just, this is so important. And I know that on the Coeur d'Alene reservation, where they're putting salmon up as far as they can, on Colville, all of our reservations, we're trying to bring the salmon back. And I think the salmon is the same thing as that revitalization of the canoes. It's that awakening. It's that connection to who we are. And so, it's so important. And this work that everybody is doing on every reservation is so important. So, Margot, did you want to share anything else about that?
Yeah. What you guys are referring to is so important. My great grandmother, Sadie Boyd, who Sadie's named after, she talked about when they came in and they were putting in the dams, and they talked to the tribes, and the grandmothers, my great grandmother said, but what are we going to feed our children? But what are we going to feed our children? And the white engineers and the government agents said, you're going to be able to flip a switch and the lights are going to come on. You're going to push a button and your house is going to be heated. And our grandmothers asked, what are we going to feed our children? What will we feed our children? They're like, oh, don't worry. We'll provide. And when those salmon are no longer coming, what are we going to feed our children is what our great grandmothers asked. And the government agents and the white engineers said, oh, don't worry, we're going to provide you rations, and there's going to be food, and we'll bring it to you. And so the story that was told to me is that when those first government rations came up to the reservation, lard and flour, and it had container as salt pork, and it was deep in the wintertime. And, because of the dams, we didn't have the salmon that we had dried and that we had to feed our children. When they cut open that salt pork, it was spoiled, and there were maggots in the salt pork, and we had nothing else to feed our children. So they had to scrape out the maggots and boil that salt pork to feed their babies, because there was nothing. It was deep in the wintertime. But those government rations are hurting us, our health, our nutrition. LoVina, everything you're saying about, when we talk about wellness, Indian people were healthy. We had roots and berries and lean meats. And the government rations that they gave us are not healthy, and it causes us all these health issues. We have our high rates of diabetes, our high rates of obesity. It's because that's not what was our traditional diet, and it's real hard on our native systems. But my great grandmother told those stories about when the salmon was cut off and how our people still had to survive. We were pushed from areas, our traditional fishing areas. One of the stories that I always tell about when we're at the Ceremony of Tears, Chief Spokane Gary was up fishing at Kettle Falls when a Suyapi, a white man, came in and stole his property. They took his homestead and burned down his home in the Hilliard area when he was up fishing at Kettle Falls. And LoVina, as you say, the canoe journey is an awakening, and it is our way to fight against drugs and alcohol. Our young people, we lost our culture and our language and our identity. And so this journey helps our young people connect with the water and the land and our ceremonies and our songs. And it's so powerful for our young people. So I really appreciate Shelly and Stevie, the language house. I appreciate you, Cut. I appreciate all the folks that come out and support our paddlers that pull. When they hit land, there are camps of people that have made food that support them, and I trust that my kids are going to be cared for when they're at all those locations. When we're up at the Pend Oreille, Francis Cluya is there to sing and pray for us. When we're on the Calvo Res, our tribal elders show up. They come clear from Canada, and they sing songs and they pray because we're praying for the salmon. We're praying for the water. Our Coeur d'Alene tribal elders show up, and they're there for us. And so it's all of our people coming together, and they surround the young people, and they sing those songs, and they make them strong. And so I really appreciate Stevie, you guys, for organizing the Ceremony of Tears and to give our kids that opportunity, because as LoVina said, it is our weapon against drugs and alcohol.
Yes. And Margot, thank you for that, because it isn't only just our weapon, but it pushes our sovereignty. It pushes our sovereignty as Indigenous people. And my dad and my mom both have fought for our Aboriginal hunting and fishing rights, for the salmon, to bring the salmon back. And you work with that a lot, Margot, so you know how they work at the national level at ATNI and NTAI, and a lot of our tribal leaders do. But one of the things I feel like that we need our tribal council members to do is they need to get out on the water too. They need to join in the canoe journeys, and just like there are some that do, but because that's how they're gonna fully understand why this is so important, to revive the canoe journeys and to revive our language and to revive the songs. Even the songs, when we did the very first canoe journey, and me and North Star were in our canoe and Wade, and we were coming around the Kettle Falls and into the Columbia, and we two eagles came flying down, and I was singing Auntie Anne's song as we were coming around the bend. And I remember, probably just like Sadie, North Star turned around and said, "Mom, this is going to be my most favorite memory with you." And, I knew, like, I have to continue to do this. And, as the Coeur d'Alene tribe, we probably have up to 13 to 15 sturgeon nose canoes now. We have, dugouts. Jeff Jordan, he does amazing work in helping us as well. And Peter Mahoney and Kodge, and, and again, like Stevie was talking about, we have to have the support of our tribal leaders. They have to understand how important it is to fund these programs and to fund canoe journeys, and, so that we can continue to do this and continue to have canoe journeys. Because, like now, we're living on the coast. Shoot, man, when they do their canoe landings, and it's millions of dollars, that they have to. But, money shouldn't be any concern when it's our culture, when it's who we are. And it should just be, you know, an automatic, because it's going to help our people. And, you know, that's just, I think that's just what's so important. And, you know, it is. And like, you know, just for us, you know, a lot, like there were probably canoe songs that we sang, you know, but we just, like, we mostly sang stick game songs because those are the songs we know, you know. So, but it's, you know, it's beautiful. And so is there anything else, Stevie, that you want to add? This is Araya, by the way. Say
Hi. No, I don't think so. I think that it's just great to be able to highlight the canoe journey and the salmon ceremony, and to kind of get it out there more and more, because we always, I mean, the more people that are coming, the more people that are participating, that's the more people that are here caring about our water and caring about our salmon and caring about our ceremonies. And that's the goal, is to start, like my mom always said, that none of our culture, none of this has left us, because she says this mostly about language when we're talking about language, and how high the Salish language is on the benchmarkers for being close to extinct. And she's like, it never left us. It's like it's been a sleeping language, and we're able to go in still and get these pieces. And the more and more people that care about that, the more and more information to get. And I just have found that, like, with everything kind of being connected and it being so important, it's like a stepping stone. You know, the canoe journey, the salmon ceremony never has ever stopped. It had been continued by the Louie family after the closing of the dams and everything. It's just people weren't going. And then kind of ILCA got involved and started trying to get a little bit more people there. And then the canoe journey kind of fed into this already salmon ceremony and became bigger. But it's always that thing, like, this was a stepping stone to get to here. And so I'm now currently wondering, okay, what is this stepping stone? We're here at the salmon ceremony, the canoe journey, it's getting bigger and bigger. What is that leading us? What's our next step? What's the next thing that we're going to be doing? And I think that that's really exciting. And I just appreciate, like, you guys amplifying that as well. It's great. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, and no problem. And you know, I'm trying to figure out, like, I would like to show that. Margot, did you want to add anything else about anything?
Just that, you know, I think it's going to take Indian people, our tribal people, to fight for clean water and to fight to bring back the salmon. You know, I worked with a group of people and we put together a book on the Spokane River. And I talk about, you know, the mining companies that have polluted our rivers, from the Coeur d'Alene Lake Basin to the uranium mine on our reservation to Tech Kaminko. You know, these Suyapi companies have dumped so many pollution and contaminants into our waterways that we have to fight. You know, EPA is starting to roll back water quality standards, and to let those companies go back to dumping pollutants in the water. And as Indian people, we are the guardians of the earth. We have been, our ancestors, you know, sang songs and we're in touch with water and land. And it's our responsibility to wake up the rest of the world and say, listen, this is our drinking water that connects to the aquifers, that the rivers are so important. And if you continue to abuse the water, then where are you going to get clean water? You know, at the university, you know, we have environmental science classes, and our young tribal people need to go in, and we need to be scientists and hydrologists and fishery biologists. We need our young people to take care of the environment and to use part of the university knowledge, use the curriculum, learn the non-native sciences, and get those tools and powers and combine it with our own traditional knowledge of ecosystems, of waterways, of our own power and songs, and to use both worlds to work to fight to protect the environment, because nobody else is going to do it. And, you know, there's non-natives that are out there willing to partner, the river keepers and the folks that will support us 100%. But we need our young people to really fight for tribal planning, for hydrology, for the environmental sciences.
Awesome. Well, and I just wanted to show everybody who's watching, this is a canoe that Jeff Jordan carved for me. And so I'll have to, hopefully I can tag him. But he just does such awesome work. And then my brother Bob, he did this one for me that I just love. And I actually have two of these from Jeff because I'm such a baby. I was always wanting, like, Jeff, make me another one, make me another one. So what I'm gonna do then is I found the video. Shelly's listening and she sent the video. So I just want to say Lim Lem Chinchas Paus Telechas to Stevie, Margot, and Shelly and Sadie. And I'm gonna share my screen and show the video, and then I'll end the power hour. So Lim Lems to you guys for coming along and talking about reviving and make sure you share it. Make sure you share the video. So, you know, the more we get the word out there, the more people that, you know, somebody might just hear it and say, oh, I should go check out, you know, how to make a canoe, or, you know, you guys will all be getting bombarded by people wanting to learn, which is a good thing, right? That's what we want. So, so thank you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to share my screen and hopefully it'll work. Bye, guys. Okay, so. Uh-oh. No, this isn't it. Okay, so I'm working on it. Is it this? No? Okay. Okay, I'm trying here. Ah, I had it up. There it is. Okay, tell me if you guys can. Okay, I don't think it worked. Okay, I have it up. I just don't know how to share it. Okay, hang on, people. Oh, Jeline, do I have permission to share? Because I'm sharing. But it's not showing that. Let me see.
Try it now.
Okay. Well, see, now then I have to find it. I'll try to share it again.
Yeah.
See, when I go share screen, then it shows this thing. Oh, see, I can, but it doesn't show the video where I had it. Is this it? That says. Oh, yeah, it might not work, Jillian. But because it, on my screen, it doesn't show, like, no, that's not what I want. Okay, sorry, guys. I know I'm trying really hard to figure this out. So when I go to Google Chrome, I see it. Can you guys see that? Jillian, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
See, I can see it on my screen. But when I'm in the Zoom, right, and I hit share screen.
Did they allow you to share screen?
Yeah. Oh, there's. Now can you guys see it?
Yeah, we're seeing it now.
Okay, here we go.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay. Wear your mask and gloves.
We've always been on this river. We were born from this land. It's important for us to be here and continue to take care of it. It's important for us to stand up for our land and our river and our salmon and our sturgeon and really make sure that that's not overlooked in the bigger realm of like society, how it is today.
Right now, the world's changed on us, and we're addressing things with health issues that are not entirely new to our people. We've survived pandemics, flu, smallpox. I heard an elder say, these aren't things that we're to be afraid of, they're things that we should respect. And we still need to continue on with our obligations to the land and to the water. And we're pre-filming this in a way to show on the actual salmon ceremony. And I had elders say a long time ago, you know, when we would do berry feasts and things, sometimes that was just your family. And that's how this is going to be today.
I think that one of the greatest strengths that we have as Native people is our ability to adjust to change and to rise above it, above the conflicts or above hardships.
Rock and roll. And sitting across the lake from there, hearing the song through the summer night air. Feel the pass from across the lake. It sticks in bones until they break. And when I was there, I was feeling fine. And singing songs and sipping wine. And cloudy vision, our traditional lake. It sticks in bones until they break. And oh,
You know, these places are so important to our people and have been for thousands of years. This place where our people fished and camped and gathered, and all the things that took place here that we don't have today. Yeah, but each one of us, we have a very strong prayer that one day we will be back here and we'll greet our fish coming back up the river.
And hidden beach, I've done my time. Across the lake, I did my prime. And when I think about the lake, it sticks in bone till daybreak.
You know, and it's so important for us to tell these stories so that our children, you know, it will bridge them to our past. This place we're standing here today, so many different events happened here for many, many generations back. But also our people gathered here because this was the last time they seen the salmon come up the river, and they had the ceremonies here at this place. You know, some of those elders, my own father, my own aunts, my grandmother, you know, who used to be up in these waters, and they'd speak of that time. You know, and everything today that we don't have that they enjoyed during their lifetime. You know, but we're doing everything that we can to see that our salmon return back up this river. You know, and I really believe that that will happen someday. And, you know, again, we can celebrate with the ceremony of tears, but this time it'll be tears of happiness to see the fish return back to our people.
Nobody can explain to you the feeling that you feel when you're on your ancestral waters in a tree, in a canoe. And that if you haven't had the opportunity to do it, do it. Even if it's for one day, for 1 hour, or you're deathly afraid, get to that river and fill those holes in your heart with connections to your land and to your ancestors.
The first time I was able to go on the canoe was with my mom on the first canoe journey. And it was amazing. It really touched me, and just to be able to see how much the river means to everybody and be able to experience it in the canoes and just be able to live what my ancestors lived.
It's difficult in the beginning. You know, it's not, you know, it's challenging in the beginning, but it's fun. You get to feel the water differently. You know, it's smooth, it's quiet, it's peaceful. And you just have a whole bunch of other tribes and different canoes out there. It's just like one big old family on the water.
I'm just very happy to announce that I completed all of the ceremonies all the way to the headwaters, to that first few drops of where this river that's called the Mighty Columbia comes from. I took kids like this size up there and asked them about the Columbia River, the Mighty Columbia. Each one of these kids, each one of us is like that first drop that starts the mighty Columbia. There wouldn't be a mighty Columbia if it wasn't all of those drops. That's what we're like. They're like.
Well, hella, 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 well, hella, oh. Well, hella, 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 well, hella, hella, hey. Well, hella, 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 well, hella, hella, oh. Well, hella, 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 well, hella, hella, hey. I'm a Colville tribal Indian, and I come from Minchley, from the lake spanned by the river. Across the border we begin. And my people fish the water till Columbia turned to lake. And Grand Coulee took the salmon, and my people's heart did break. Grand Coulee took the salmon, and my people's heart did break.
These things were provided us by the Creator, and with one condition, basically, and that was if you take care of this, then they'll take care of you. And that's kind of where we're at. We need to reconnect that salmon back to its homelands, its home spawning grounds, and we'll all be better off as people.
I was raised in politics at time they tried to terminate our existence as a people. We were here to live our faith. Have the strength among my people as their blood runs strong through me. My children and their children will be proud of who they'll be. My children and their children will be proud of who they'll be. Well, hella, 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 well, hella, hella, oh. Well, hella, hella, hella,
Susus, Tom Louie, he would always have us grab our rocks. And we'd grab 2 rocks and we'd make this sound together. And Tom would say, that's the sound, that's the voice of the salmon, that's how they talk to each other. And so when we're calling them up the river, that's their language. And that's what we do, we go to their language.
What we're doing right now is we're making a call out to people, to everybody, to go to the water and to pray for the salmon, to pray for the water, to pray for our health. We want to make sure people get out there and go to the water. Our water needs us, it needs our prayers, and it needs us to be there for it, as it's always been here for us since the beginning of time.
You know, they say when our people start dancing and singing in the winter time, it's those prayers for everything to come, the new foods, the newness of the earth. This is our wealth as Indian people. We didn't look at wealth as in a materialistic sense. Our wealth was the wealth of our world and the health of our world.
we just want to thank you for joining us today. Bye, everybody.
Welcome to another episode of Uncomfortable Conversations with the Black Man. Now, the goal of this was never to be a monologue, but rather